All right, number 7 says, the cost of making copies at store W is $5 regardless of how many copies you make. So you can make 1 copy and it's $5. You can make 20 copies and it's $5. The cost of making copies at store Z is 40 cents per copy plus a $1 charge for the use of the machine. The total cost of making n number of copies at either store can be represented by an equation. Write and graph a system using a table to find out how many copies you have to make for the cost to be the same at both stores. And what if you have to make a small number of copies, which store should you go to? And if you have to make a large number of copies, what store? Okay, so we're going to first start with our equations. So my first equation, the cost is always going to be $5. This is at store W. It's just a flat fee of $5. That's the cost. It doesn't matter how many copies there are. Now at store Z, the cost is going to be equal to 40 cents per copy. And they said, and we don't know how many number of copies, so it's 40 cents times the number of copies plus $1 just for use of their machine. So these are my two equations. Now I need to figure out, well, when is the cost going to be the same? Well, down here along the x-axis, I'm going to make this my number of copies. And along this side is going to be the cost in dollars of those copies. All right, so now if I start at 0, I'm going to just label these by going up by 1. All right, and then along this side, let's see, if I've got up to 15 copies, if I were to put that into my calculator, let me clear this out. Go to a regular screen. If I had 40 cents times 15 copies, that would be 6 plus 1. So the highest amount would be about 7 that I'm going to have to go up to. So I'm going to have to just look on this side, and if I put make 15 copies, the highest amount I'm going to have to pay is $7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 makes my graph small. So I'm going to count every other one. So I'm going to make this $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $6, $7 up here. Okay. So my first equation says that the cost is constantly $5 no matter what. So remember when we had a y equals 5, it just made a horizontal line going straight across. So that's what this line is. It's going to constantly be $5 no matter how many copies. All right, then I'm going to take a look at my next one. This one says I'm going to start at $1 because that's the cost of using the machine, and I'm going to go up 40 cents each time. So this we're going to have to estimate when we're doing this. So I would say enter that into your calculator if you have one. I'm going to clear that one out and clear this and rewrite 40 cents x plus 1, and I'm going to get the table of values. Okay. So even if you make 0 copies, it says it's going to cost $1 just to use the machine. So if I make my table here, still going to cost $1 to use the machine. If I make 1 copy, it's going to be $1 for the machine plus 40 cents for the copy. If I do 2, it's going to be $1 for the machine plus 80 cents. So each time now I'm going to be adding 40 cents. So this is $2.20, $2.60, $3, $3.40, $3.80, $4.20, $4.60. So 10 copies would be $5. Well, I'm going to stop there just because I know that the cost over here is $5. So no matter what, for this one, it's like, no matter what we put in, it's always, no matter how many copies we make, it's always $5. So if we make 0 copies, it's not going to cost anything. But if we make 1 copy, it's $5. 2 copies, it's $5. 3 copies, it's $5. It's always $5, and so on. So let's graph some of this data. So if you were going to use the machine, 0 copies would be $1. 1 copy would be $1.40. 2 copies would be $1.80. 3 copies would be $2.20. And I'm estimating because I'm saying this is like $1.50, this is $2.50. You don't have to write those numbers in, but understand that's what the scale is going up by. 4 would be $2.60. 5 is $3. And if you want to just do these whole number ones, we can do that too. So then if I go 6, it's $3.40. 7 would be $3.80. 8 would be $4.20. 9 is $4.60, and 10 is $5. So I can see right there, that's where my 2 lines are going to cross, because if I were to connect that, this would be my intersection point. So they said, when would the cost be the same? How many copies would you have to make for the cost to be the same? So in order for my cost to be $5 at both stores, I would have to make 10 copies. The second question said, if you were just going to make a small number of copies, which store would you go to? Well, if I was only making like 2 or 3 copies, it's cheaper to go to store Z, because at store Z, it's only $1.80, $2.20, whereas at store W, it's always $5. And then the last question says, well, what if you had a large number of copies? Well, say I had 100 copies, they're still charging $5. So it makes a lot more sense to go to store W because it doesn't matter the number of copies.